Hey, Yehuda. Yehuda, is that you? Etan? Moshe Lieberman. Wow.
Yeah, me.
That is me, Rabbi.
Hey, hi, Moshe.
Rabbi, what's going on?
Etan, hi, Etan.
Hi.
And Yehuda, you're faceless, Yehuda.
Yeah, I know. I'm just in a busy area. I'm gonna
Joey,
go
nice
live.
shave.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Why don't I hear you?
I don't know.
Ah, that's better. Joey, you're Joey? Joey?
Sorry, Rebbe. I was just putting it live on. And I couldn't speak while I was doing it. Okay. So, Rebbe, Rebbe's ready to go. Everything is set up and live, so Rebbe can start whenever he can. I am in the middle of putting some kids to bed, so I got to run.
I don't believe it.
What can I do?
I don't believe it.
Here's who's going to be the guy. Yaakov Fleisher. I'm making you the co-host. You can run it.
Sure thing.
Hi, Yaakov.
How you doing, Rabbi?
Good. I left my note upstairs of what I was going to talk about today, but we'll try to remember. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Make it like this. This way you get a little more of me. There's a lot of me. I can, especially after Corona, I figured out that the stimulus was that each of us can buy a new suit, 2 sizes bigger, Very depressing, but we won't talk about things like that. Okay, so today after Shavuos, and we want to try to make a little bit of a calculation of what we're walking away with. We don't want, the truth of the matter is that Shavuos always stays with us. It's one of those Yomim Tovim. We have a mitzvah, a special mitzvah in the Torah, Raki Shomer L'chol, Shmor Nafshechom and Mo'oid. We must remember the mitzvah of Maimad Choyrev. We always have to remember that we stood at Har Sinai. It's crucial. It's one of the 6 mitzvahs to say that we have to remember. And the truth of the matter is that every single day when we daven, and we say the tefillah of Ava Rabbah, when we say the words Uvonu v'charta mikolam v'loshon, the Magen Avraham brings the Arizal, and he says that when we say Uvonu v'charta mikolam v'loshon, that is the time that we're supposed to remember the Maimad Har Sinai. And there's a funny thing about the Yom Tov of Shavuos. We celebrate on the Yom Tov of Shavuos, we celebrate the fact that we received the Torah. And the Torah that we received on the Yom Tov of Shavuos, that was the Luchos HaRishonos, the first Luchos. And certainly, it was such a tremendous simcha to be able to receive those Luchos. But we all know that unfortunately on Shavuos B'Tammuz, we lost those luchos. The luchos were broken, and we have nothing left from them. And there had to be a whole new Matan Torah, a whole new Kabbalah Torah. And Moshe Rabbeinu had to go daven for 40 days that the Jewish people should be saved. And then 40 days, he had to prepare the luchos shniyos. He had to prepare the second set of luchos. So the truth of the matter is that from Shavuos, we have nothing left. We don't have any Torah left. That Torah we don't have. The Torah, the luchos of Yeshonos, is a very, very high level. The only one that has that is only Moshe Rabbeinu. But there's one thing that we never lost, and that's Maimad Choyrev. Choyrev. The fact that we stood at Har Sinai, that stays with us forever. Ubanu v'charta mikolam v'lo. We say it in Birchas HaTorah. We say it every time we get an Aliyah. Asher bochar bonu mikol ha'amin. He chose us. We choose him. That's the relationship we have together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is an amazing, amazing thing. You know, I say that, I give a mashal of a guy that gets married, you know, a youngster that gets married, and they live together, you know, he gets married with his wife, and he chooses, you know, a nice young girl. She's very pretty. She's a nice girl, et cetera, et cetera. And then years go past, and they turn 60 and 70 and 75, and she's not as pretty anymore, and she's not as nice anymore. You know that somebody once said, you know, what does it mean, koil choson, the koil kala? What's koil choson and koil kala? You know, Shabara Sosan, Vesimcha, Chosan, Vekala. What's koil choson? Yishama Bara Yehuda, koil sosan, vekoil kala. Koil choson, vekoil kala. So somebody said, very geschmack. You know, the first morning after the chasana, she makes her some breakfast and this and that. And then she says to him, you know, I feel really, really bad to disturb you, honey bunch, but would it be possible, maybe, possibly, please, do you think you would be able to maybe take out the garbage? So he says, sure, no problem, honey. No problem, it would be my pleasure. You know what I mean? A week later, she says, sweetheart, would you be able to take out the garbage, please? He says, sure, honey. And then a few weeks later, take out the garbage! You know? So we want to hear the koil kala. You know, we want to hear the koil kala, the koil of the kala, the way the kala speaks to the kosid. You got that, guys? I see you got it. I see some smiles. Baruch Hashem. But what I mean to say is that often when we turn older, so we look at the choice that we made, but it's a choice that we made 50 years ago. Okay, I'm stuck with her now. You know, I chose her when I was 20. She was very good looking then. She was a nice girl then, but nothing much to write home about now. She's just crabby. You know what I mean? But what should I do? I chose her 50 years ago. Or do we say, no. Every day I choose you again, honey. I love you so much. I choose you today. I want you. And that's what happens with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. With HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that, he chooses us. He's constantly choosing us. We're constantly choosing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is constantly choosing us. And that's why the Maimed of Choyrev of Har Sinai is so important. It dawned upon me something that maybe some of you will enjoy. You know, we read the beautiful Megillah yesterday, the Megillah of Rus. And the Megillah of Rus, for those of you that were able to stay up while we were learning it, there's a beautiful story about Rus, and Rus married Boaz, as you all know. And I once made a very interesting calculation that when did this marriage take place? So Boaz and Rus came to Beis Lechem. She became a Giyoris, right? According to many opinions. She became a convert, and when was the day that she came to Beis Lechem? So the pasuk says it was B'mek Tzir Se'orim. And it says that when she came, there was a gewaldige tumult in the city. The whole city was up in arms. Wow, look who came. Nomi came and Rus came. Amazing. So at that point, so what was that day? Why was there a whole tumult? So the Medrash says two opinions. One opinion is that because Boaz's wife passed away that day. So there was a levaya of Boaz's wife, and everybody came out for the levaya. But the other opinion is that it was the day of the Ktsira Sa'omer. It was the day that they harvested the Omer, which is the second day of Pesach. Now we have a halacha that when a woman becomes a Geyoris, she's not allowed to marry a Jew for 3 months. Because just in case she had a baby from a Goy or something, we have to be able to figure it out. So we need three months we need 3 months to be able to pass. So 3 months from Tezayin in Nisan is Tezayin Tammuz. So we know that she came to sleep by his feet, so she couldn't have come before Tezayin Tammuz. On Tezayin Tammuz, she comes to sleep by the feet of Boaz, and Boaz says, no, listen, I'm happy to deal with you, but there's one guy that comes before me. There's a cousin that's closer to you, and maybe he has to marry you. So they worked it out the next day, and then the next night is the night that they got married. And they were only together one night, because the next morning he died, Boaz. So that means that when did she conceive? She conceived on the night of Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. And this was my own calculation many, many years ago. And then I found that the Chassam Sofer makes the very same calculation, Baruch Hashem. So it lies over here something amazing. That Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, which is the day that the Luchos were destroyed, which is such a sad day for the Jewish people. But Malchus Beis David was reborn on Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. And that's why it says in the pasuk over there that Aaron told the Jews, Chag L'Hashem Mocha, tomorrow it's going to be a Yom Tov. For sure Yud Zayin B'Tammuz is going to be a Yom Tov. Because that's the day that Malchus Beis David was brought back, that was created, Malchus Beis David. So it's no pella then that David HaMelech is born on Shavuos. Because even when the Luchos Rishonos were taken away from us, David HaMelech is the one that teaches us tshuva. Right? The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah that the chet of David HaMelech, you know, the chet with Bathsheba, it was kimat, he had no bechira about it. It was kimat because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted that he should teach the Jewish people how they are going to do tshuva. So Memela, already on Shavuos, even though we may not have received the Luchos HaRishonos that we got on Shavuos, we lost, but we got David HaMelech. And by the fact that we got David HaMelech, that already gives us the opportunity that that's going to be able, we're going to be able to be Chozer B'Tshuva, and on Yom Kippur, which is the day of Tshuva, that day we're going to be able to receive the Luchos HaShniyos. So that's one of the things that caught my eye on Shavuos. Another thing I wanted to share with you, another thought. Yesterday, I saw in the parasha something very, very beautiful. You're going to have next week Parshas Nosoi, Bezrat Hashem in America. The very last pasuk of Parshas Nosoi. Parshas Nosoi is the biggest parsha, as you know. 176 psukim, right? The largest parsha is 176 psukim. The largest Masechta is 176 dapim, Baba Basra. And the largest Perek in Tehillim is 176 psukim in Kapitel Kuf Yutes. So we have a number of 176. So this is 176 psukim in Parshas Nosoi. Now at the end of Parshas Nosoi, we have the Nesiim, and the Nesiim bought 12 korbanos. They all bought the same thing, and they had very, very special kavonas, amazingly lofty kavonas. And then at the end of the parsha, it recaps how many altogether, 12 of these and 24 of those, and 120 of those, etc., etc. And then the pasuk says, of Avoy Moshe, when Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Mishkan to speak, he heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he heard the koil midaber elov. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was talking, Kav Yochel, he was talking to himself. So it made me like, what does that have to do with the Parsha of the Nesiim? Here you have 88 psukim, I believe, that discuss in great depth that the Nesiim bought these korbanos and those korbanos, and 12 times over and over and over, and all together. And now, when Moshe Rabbeinu came into the Mishkan, he heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it have to do? So there's a fascinating Sforno over there, very short, but as always, the Sforno says things short, but very to the point. And he says over here that Moshe Rabbeinu was zoiche to hear the koil, like the pasuk says, but it wasn't stam a koil. This was the koil of before even the egel. He was zoiche to hear a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous high level. And he says, the Sforno says that in the Beis HaMikdash, not in the Beis HaMikdash of Shlomo HaMelech, and not in the Beis HaMikdash of this Anshe Knesset Agdoila, they weren't zoiche to such a koil. Only Moshe Rabbeinu. But you know why Moshe Rabbeinu was zoiche to it? Everybody will think that it was because of Moshe Rabbeinu. He says no. The reason was because of the Chanukah Sabayis of the Nesiim. Because the Nesiim, when they were mechanech, the bayis, they had such lofty kavonis that they were able to bring down a presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a presence of even before the Chet of the Egel. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu was zoiche to hear that koil. I was thinking, if so, this is called Chanukah Sabayis. So anything that has to do with chinuch, if it's chinuch of children, when we're mechanech our children, we have to realize that when we're mechanech our children, if we don't have high aspirations for them, so we're shortchanging them. It all depends on the bar that we set for them to see where they're going to be able to get. In many cases, sometimes a child could be lucky. He goes to he's going to go to a yeshiva or he'll go to a school where he'll be turned on by the Rebbe, by the teacher, etc., etc. But very, very often, a person is limited by the bar that was set by his parents. So you see over here by the chinuch of the Nesiim, the chinuch of the Nesiim was on such a high level that there was zoiche, that Moshe Rabbeinu was able to hear the koil of before the Chet HaEgel. I thought that was a tremendous, tremendous insight for anybody that's building a new home, a Chanukah Sabayis, or getting married, whatever it may be, to remember. It's all that, the pasuk says we say it every day in davening, Harchev picho va'amaleyu. Open your mouth wide, and I'll fill it up. And the Gemara says that that's talking about Divrei Torah. When it comes to Divrei Torah, when it comes to Yiddishkeit, when it comes to Ruchnius, you have to have big aspirations. If you have big aspirations, then you have an opportunity in Yitz Hashem, and we'll be zoiche that we will be able to arrive at those aspirations. But if you don't have the aspirations at all, if you don't think big, hayinu k'choyomim, you have to be a dreamer. Remeya Shapira, right, was a dreamer. He dreamt about the Daf HaYomi. Take a look at the Daf HaYomi today. He dreamt about Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin. Take a look. I always call him Mash. I always tell the Mash. I don't think he's listening, so I could feel free to speak. I always say the Mash is he's a dreamer. He always thinks got dreams, but Baruch Hashem, he has dreams. If he wouldn't have dreams, we wouldn't still have a yeshiva, So it's very, very good to dream, and you got to think big. And if you think big, just like a person goes in business and he would think big, you got to think big when it comes to Yiddishkeit as well. What else? What else do you want to hear about? These 7 days, I just want to explain to you one more nakuda, one more point. We were talking about Shavuos at the beginning. Shavuos never leaves us. we have a mistake if you think, we all think about time, and there's an adage of the Ibn Ezra, ha'ovar ayin, the past is gone. Ha'osid adayin, the future is still to come. Ha'hoive, the present, keherafayin is like a blink of an eye. So daiga minayin, what are you worried about? Again, ha'ovar ayin, the ovar is gone. The osid adayin is still coming. Ha'hoive, the present, keherafayin, like the blink of an eye. So daiga minayin, what are you worried about? But whatever it is, we only live the present. But the honest truth is that the Shavuos never leaves us. We constantly, I had a granddaughter over here. My grandkids came to visit now the last couple of days. They're coming for the first time after Corona. The Prime Minister said that everybody can go visit their Saba and Savta. So the kids came in and they came to my house for Shavuos. So my cute granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter in Telstone, so she came and she went home to her Abba and she said, Abba, next year by Har Sinai, we can't be Makabel more Torah because you have no more room to put any books. All your bookshelves are packed. Right? She's about 3 years old. So she said there's no room anymore for Torah next year on Maimad Har Sinai. So her brother said, no, there's going to be. We're going to Har Sinai next year also, her 4-year-old brother told her. Yeah, we are going to Har Sinai next year. But the truth of the matter is that we're always connected to Har Sinai. We never leave Har Sinai. It's just, once a year we live the Shavuos, but the Shavuos is always with us. All I could say is that, Hashem should help that just like we use every minute, those of us, I think, that stayed up on Shavuos night, it's no fun staying up Shavuos night. By the time it gets 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we're all exhausted. But, Chazal teach us that there's a concept on Shavuos of being Makabel oil Torah. We're Makabel upon ourselves the yoke of Torah. The yoke of Torah, and it says then that if we are Makabel the yoke of Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to remove all Averis from you. No Averis. We accept the yoke of Torah. So, I think that's also something that we have to think about on Shavuos. We can't learn for a whole year's worth of learning on Shavuos. That we can't do on Shavuos. But what you could do on Shavuos is the yoke. Accept the yoke. And what is a yoke? A yoke is like a donkey. A donkey has a yoke on it, and it's tied up. Tied. And even if the donkey falls, the donkey may... But it falls. But we need to walk away from Shavuos. I accept the yoke of Torah. And we have that for 7 days. The entire 7 days after Shavuos, that means from Friday till next Thursday, it's all Tashlumin. Those that didn't bring the Karbanos in the Beis HaMikdash, they still can bring it till this coming Thursday. So we have to continue to work on making sure that we accept the yoke of Torah. And the yoke of Torah means that we don't compromise. There's no option. I accept it as a yoke. Torah, to have Sedorim every day, Tefillah, mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. And in that schus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgives us for all sin. This is what the Medrash says. This is what the Gemara says in the Yerushalmi. Kol ha'makabel olav Torah, all Torah, ma'ale ani olav kilu lo yichoto me'olam. You know why the Gemara says that? Because by every korban musaf on the Yomim Tovim, it always says Sir izim echad l'chatos, l'chaper aleichem. And here by Shavuos, it says Sir izim l'chaper aleichem without the word chatos. The only Yom Tov that it doesn't say the word chatos. So the Gemara says, because kol ha'makabel olav ol Torah, if you accept upon yourself the oil, the yoke of Torah, So it's Hashem considers it that we didn't sin. So even, maybe you didn't have the Shavuos. Shavuos isn't over yet. Life starts when you're 40. You still have till Thursday to accept that yoke of Torah, and in that schus, in Yitz Hashem, He will consider us shelechotam eyolam, that we never ever sin, and it'll erase all our averos. Hashem should be zoich memazake us, that we should be bekabel all Torah, and that the Shavuos should stay with us forever and ever. Kol tov. Thank you. Take care, Moshe. Where are you, Moshe, these days? Moshe, where are you, Moshe?
Home.
You home?
Yeah.
Take care. Kol tov. Hi, Nelson.
Shalom Aleichem, Rebbe. How are you?
Baruch
I
Hashem.
came
Baruch
Nice to
Hashem.
meet you.
Hi, I can't identify. Who's this over here? Hi, Alex. Hi, Alex.
Shalom Aleichem. How are you? Beautiful shir. Thank you so much for the chizuk.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Hi, Shmuley.
Hi, Rabbi. Good
How
to
you
see you.
doing? What's going on?
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Good.
I'm getting white, no?
A little bit. A little bit. I'm following you. I don't know if you can see on the sides. I'm getting there.
You think I should dye my hair? I think I'm a stud anyway, no?
I'll take it, Rabbi.
I would recommend it, Rebbe. Don't die there.
Hey, Yehuda, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, I'm doing good. Rebbe, I just want to confirm I have till 40 to get my act together.
Till 40?
Nah,
How old are you now? You're like 27, right?
27, yep.
I think I had 6 kids by the time I was 27.
Okay. I'll have to catch up, Rebbe. Thanks for the share, though, Rebbe. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. I can't identify you. Who's this over here? I can't see who it is. Can't identify somebody. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Neveh Zion, that's Joe Abter.
Shkoyach.
Okay, Zagebedge, Kultu.
Goyak, Rebbe. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Rabbi, thank you for the share. It was
Thank you very
gewaldic.
much. Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
Rabbi.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How do I leave? Bannon says.
我想的。你说beep beep 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 yes beep beep beep
That is so cute.
beep everybody beep and beep
Beep, beep, everybody, beep, and ging.
beep 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 beep我想吃我。I just. I want to watch. I want wine. I want watch. I want what. I want what. I want to. I want to. I want.
Something to watch? Let's see what happens.
Want sensual?
You lick my tongue? Yeah, good girl. Yeah. Stop.
The rib sound.
The rib sound.
Why have fish?
I have moves.
Why have fish sound?
Beef?
Fish.
No, this, no, this, no, this, no.